Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a strength and conditioning specialist and also a sports nutritionist with a background in exercise physiology and nutrition. So I'm here today to talk to you about fake health foods, okay? There are a lot of foods that people think are good for them that are actually causing a lot of harm and are very damaging. Most people are aware of the fact that the food industry is very, very tricky with how they advertise, okay? Now, I'm going to do 5 major foods or snacks that people think are health foods, okay, that really aren't. The first one I'm going to start with are nutrition bars, okay? Protein bars, nutrition bars that people that work out or people who are supposed to be health conscious use. You find them in every sports club and health food store, these nutrition bars. Honestly, I've only seen one that's actually worth consuming. They are some of the worst items to consume because, number one, if you look at the ingredients, if you pick up one of those nutrition bars, and you look at the ingredients in the back, oftentimes they have lots of grains, including wheat, okay? And wheat and many other grains are linked to autoimmune diseases, digestive problems, bone demineralization problems, okay? Grains are not good to consume unless they've been soaked, okay? And you can trust and believe any grain products that you're eating from the supermarkets, the grains have not been sprouted and soaked, okay? So it contains lots of phytic acid, which prohibits certain vitamins and minerals from being uptaken in the body. And also, if you look at the ingredients, they usually have soybean oil, expeller pressed soybean oil, sometimes canola oil, sunflower, safflower oil. There are omega-6 polyunsaturated fats, which are expeller pressed, okay? Those are highly inflammatory fats, so cause cancer and all kinds of problems, okay? Also, they add a lot of artificial vitamins in. Now, when you're consuming vitamins that come from a laboratory, they mimic the chemical form, the natural chemical form that comes from nature. So they can often cause vitamin deficiencies. So you really want to stay away from artificial vitamins. Even if you take vitamins as a supplement, there's a lot that you have to know before you purchase some vitamins. And even the people that work in most of the stores don't really know how to analyze it, okay? They just tell you what they've been told by whatever company. So you need to find, before you take any vitamins, you need to find somebody who really knows how to analyze it. Because you can take a vitamin in a chemical form that is toxic to you or does nothing at all, okay? Like, for example, a lot of fortified products, which you want to stay away from, like fortified soy milk and fortified almond milk and rice milk. If you look at a lot of them, they have vitamin D added to it. But it says vitamin D2. We actually need vitamin D3. Okay, vitamin D2 can cause serious problems in the body, serious vitamin D deficiencies because it mimics vitamin D3 and it competes with vitamin D3 with for binding spots on the receptors, on our receptors in our cells. Okay, so it can cause a serious vitamin D deficiency. So the problem with these health bars is the highly inflammatory wheat and grains, all the carbohydrates. Okay. A lot of times there's sugar in it, a few different ways listed. The artificial vitamins that are added into it, which can cause problems. And the polyunsaturated pro-inflammatory cancer-causing omega-3 fats that are in it. There's only one brand that I've seen that I feel like is decent, and that's a brand called Garden of Life. And the reason why their bars are good is because everything is sprouted. Okay, if you look at the ingredients, sprouted, extra virgin coconut oil. There are no expeller pressed polyunsaturated fats. Every grain or anything that's in it is definitely sprouted. Has probiotics in it, which helps you digest. Very important for your immune system. But all the rest of the bars, the Cliff bars, all that stuff is straight crap. Okay, completely. The next fake health food that I want to talk about are sports drinks, and sports drinks pretty much fall along the same lines as the sports bars, okay? Now, if you think about it, people have been on this earth for hundreds of thousands of years doing serious physical labor that none of us could do right now, okay? None of us are as strong as people were just a couple hundred years ago. Now, they weren't drinking Gatorade or Powerade. Okay. Hydration is important, but you can get that from nature. You don't need to consume a drink that has artificial colors, because anything that's going to turn your mouth red or blue or purple is definitely cancer causing and not good for you. So whenever you see artificial colors, F, D, and C, red number 1 and blue number 2 and all that, avoid it. Highly cancer causing. So they put the artificial colors in the Powerade, the Gatorade. Then they put glucose fructose syrup in it, which is not high fructose corn syrup, but it's still too much fructose, and just too much sugar, period. It's not a naturally occurring sugar. Then a lot of times they also have the potassium and the electrolytes that has in it has been added in. The amount of potassium in Gatorade, okay, in like a bottle of Gatorade is very, very little. Like, I think that a bottle of Gatorade, if I can remember correctly, in the same serving, like if you have 10 ounces of Gatorade and 10 ounces of coconut water, you'll have 60 milligrams of potassium in the Gatorade and 660, or let's say an average of 600 milligrams of potassium in coconut water, okay? And coconut water has carbohydrates, but the ratio of carbohydrates to potassium is much better. A lot less carbohydrates, a lot more potassium. Whereas Gatorade and Powerade and all these sports drinks have a lot of carbohydrates coming from all these syrupy sugars, and then hardly any potassium. The amount of potassium and sodium that's in Gatorade is completely insignificant. So when you're told that you need electrolytes, after working out and the water's not enough, that's very true. So Gatorade is right about that. But Gatorade is not the best source. And I always tell my clients, only drink Gatorade if you are about to pass out from dehydration and that is your only choice, or you have a choice between that and water. If you are chronically dehydrated, okay, and all you have is Gatorade or water, drink the Gatorade, because water itself will not revive you, okay? When you're in a state of dehydration, you need carbohydrates, you need electrolytes, all right? Better sources of it are stuff like coconut water, watermelon juice, and things like that, okay? Another fake health food is non-fat yogurt. Every city I go to, all over every city, okay, I see all these non-fat, it's not even low-fat anymore, it's non-fat yogurt, okay? So they take the fat out of the yogurt. I'm going to say that the fat is there for a reason. When you take the fat out of the yogurt or you take the fat out of the milk, now it's a processed food. The fat is there for a reason, and the fat is very important to help digest the protein properly, and fat gives things flavor. So when they take the fat out, they put a lot more sugar to replace the fact that there's no taste, okay? Fat-free and fatless things are bland and tasteless, okay? So they fill it with so much more sugar. Now, it's known that sugar feeds cancer cells, okay? Sugar causes so many problems in the body, all right? Fat, on the other hand, honestly, most people in America don't get enough fat in their diet. And most of the fats that they do get are coming from polyunsaturated, expeller-pressed vegetable oils, okay? And no fat that comes from nature is bad for you, okay? And whether it's plant or animal, okay? And we need to get proper variety of saturated fat, omega-3s, and the polyunsaturated omega-3 and omega-6. But most Americans get way more omega-6 fats than they ever need, okay? Which is not a good situation. So with the yogurt, you definitely want to leave the fat in the yogurt and avoid the fat-free yogurt, because you're not doing yourself any justice. Actually, all this fat-free stuff does not help you to actually keep the fat off. Most people who are eating all this fat-free stuff are fat, okay? And then the people that you see who are eating lots of fat are not fat, all right? So that's just really important to keep in mind, okay? You need fat. You need to consume fat to burn fat, all right? This is a metabolism conversation for another day, and I will be teaching some online classes dealing with metabolism and holistic sports nutrition. But metabolism, is a real thing, and the fat's there for a reason. And fat and protein work together. So the non-fat yogurt, if you think you're doing something good for yourself, you're not. It's crap, okay? Straight up. Now, the next one that I will mention are whole grain cereals. People think that they're doing a good job by eating Raisin Bran or Cheerios because it says it's heart healthy. The reason why they get to say that it's heart healthy is because of the fiber that's in it, but the wheat that's in it, the sugar that's in it, and all these artificial vitamins can actually cause a lot of problems. And some of the additives in these cereals, some of them have high fructose corn syrup, which is bad for your heart. A lot of them have soybean oil or corn oil or canola oil, all of which is horribly bad for your heart. Those are the fats that cause inflammation and heart attacks. The canola oil, the soybean oil, the corn oil, the sunflower oil, okay? The margarine. You want to avoid that, okay? And again, the grains and the wheat and everything, one of the worst things you could consume, okay? And lastly, this is not, technically it's not a food, but most health conscious people will take a multivitamin, okay? And a lot of my clients, they show me the multivitamins, and I've never seen a multivitamin that I thought made any sense, because usually it's too much going on at once. They're trying to put too many nutrients in at one time, and the chemical forms of nutrients are in are oftentimes not the best, or some of the chemical forms may be good, some of them aren't. The amounts that is in it a lot of times is not optimal. It's just too much going on at one time, okay? And I find that people just buy multivitamins. People have no idea how to evaluate a vitamin bottle. They buy it because somebody told them it was good, whether it's somebody in the store or, whatever, commercial, okay? You must be very, very careful with consuming vitamins, okay? Because they can do harm or do nothing at all. And most people spend all this money on vitamins for stuff that's not good. Usually when I look at my clients' vitamins, I'm like, yeah, you need to throw this out. You need to throw this out. And I don't want to make people waste money, but, it's just not good. And in order for someone to evaluate supplements, okay, to look at a thing of vitamins and to be able to evaluate whether or not it's good, they need to have a background in chemistry, because it's all chemistry. When you start dealing with alpha tocopherol and gamma tocopherol and, beta carotene versus retinol, okay, these are all different chemical forms. The public here is vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, okay, but there's many chemical forms of vitamin E. There's alpha tocotrienol and tocopherols, okay, and gamma tocopherol, and these are all different kinds of vitamin E that we hear as vitamin E. There's many different chemical forms of vitamin E. Each one follows different chemical pathways, has different metabolic things that are needed for its digestion. It's stored in different places. So nutrition is a very complicated science. And I will say that Western science hasn't confirmed anything that indigenous people didn't already know. However, I will say that, if you're going to take something that's coming from modern science, like vitamins and stuff like that, you really need to know what you're doing. You need to seek out a practitioner who really understands that. So those are the 5, fake health foods for today. That was the nutrition bars, the low-fat yogurt, or the non-fat yogurt. Okay, you should leave all the fat in the yogurt. Preferably get your yogurt from grass-fed cows, grass-fed local cows who fed no hormones or anything, and leave the fat in it. Then you have the sports drinks like Gatorade and Powerade, which are absolutely horrible for you. The whole grain cereals and the multivitamins. Okay, so those foods, no good, people. All right. You can find me on Facebook at Makeda Voletta The Body Scientist. Okay, Makeda Voletta The Body Scientist. You can email me at mvoletta@thebodyscientist.com. And I hope you liked the video. Hope it was informative. All right, be great, people.